Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to tell you a story here. A story about how miserable the Yankees season has been so far. So bad, in fact, that fans are just throwing trash and balls and all kinds of nonsense onto the field, and that in itself is just disappointing. Good afternoon and welcome to the podcast. I'm Nick Drago. Today on the show, that's right, we got a new soccer league coming to town. We're going to talk all about the Super League. Also, was the Jake Paul fight rigged? We'll chat about that as well. And last but certainly not least, one of Gordie Howe's records has been toppled. Which one? Well, we're going to talk about that as well on the show today. Stick with us, friends, because sports starts now! And welcome to the Sports Podcast with me, your host, Nick Drago. For those of you out there that are new to the program, first off, hi, hello, welcome. We love having new friends come to join us. What do we talk about? Well, I'll tell you all the sports news and information from the previous week while we update you on all the fun stuff that's about to happen up ahead down the road. And remember, folks, this is the only show out there where you get to hear my sweet, sultry voice. So if you're enjoying it, find us on SoundCloud, Twitter, YouTube, and the Facebook. Just type in Sports with Nick Drago. That's me. And you can email me directly, sports3xpodcast@gmail.com. Okay, friend amigos, how was your weekend? Mine was fine. It's still not over. It's actually only like 5 o'clock here right now. So, yeah, I guess there's still time for me to do stuff. Anyway, I hope you guys had I shouldn't say better weekend. Mine was fine. I played golf, right? I hope you guys also had a good weekend, is what I should be saying. But happy Monday. I'm glad you're out there listening to us out in podcast world. Are you driving to work right now? How's your commute? Is there traffic? Can you pull off for churros and coffee? No, you've never tried churros and coffee together? Today is the first day to try that. All right, friends, let's talk about the sports world. A lot of stuff has been happening, as I mentioned before, but the top of the show today is we got to talk about the European Super League. Now, I don't often talk about soccer on the show for the very reason that I'm American, and thus I don't understand it. I shouldn't say that. I understand some of it. But what I do understand is that some of the top teams from Europe are disbanding or breaking away from their respective leagues and forming a Super League. Now, all of the English teams for this at least have been announced. So some of the top flight clubs we know are involved are Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Tottenham. I'm surprised Manchester City is not joining the mix, although they figure maybe if all these other teams leave, they can look pretty good. They're also talking about stealing teams away from La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, and one from France's, I think it's Ligue 1? Ligue 1? I kind of like how that sounds. The Liga teams are, it was Barcelona, obviously, Madrid, and there was one more that's escaping me. Oh, come on, article. We just had it. At least the Italian league, while we're looking for that, the Italian leagues are definitely going to be Juventus and AC Milan and what's the other Milan team? I told you I don't know this stuff. AC Milan and Inter Milan. All right, there's two teams in Milan. And then you have Madrid, Barcelona, and Atletico, which also play in Madrid. Those are like the big three there. And then from Bundesliga, I know Dortmund was one and Bayern Munich, which also are like the biggest teams in those leagues. For France, I would have to assume that it's that team that... oh my goodness. Was it PFG? is the big French team that is apparently good right now. Honestly, there's so many thoughts you could have about this. Think of it this way for my Americans out there. What if the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, let's say the Cardinals, let's say the top 10 teams in Major League Baseball decided, yeah, screw the rest, we're going and forming our own league, right? And then what happens to those other leagues? What happens to all those other teams, AA, AAA, everything? We don't know. And that's where the interesting piece is. Are people still going to tune in for their Premier League teams? Absolutely. They're still going to show up and watch their teams. And you know this because even if a team gets relegated, right? If a team gets relegated, the fans still show up. These teams have fans. Now, it's when you get really far down the list, that's where things are hairy. UEFA's upset because they're going to lose money on this. These teams aren't competing in Champions League anymore. They're going to be competing in their own crazy league. Now, from what I saw, it would be 15 teams that are permanently part of the group. They cannot be relegated. But then there's 5 extra teams in there. They want it to be a full 20. So I don't know what happens with those 5 teams. Maybe they'll invite other teams every year to compete, which would then be a great way for Champions League and all of the other leagues, La Liga, Premier League, all of them to continually be participating in this group. But folks, this is absolutely happening. I think what did it say? $6 billion are set aside to start this thing. UEFA is apparently making some big changes to the Champions League, including a new 36-team format. So I think that I personally think for soccer in general, this could be a good thing. It's going to hurt a lot of other teams and leagues and whatnot, but from an American standpoint, when you look at soccer, it just doesn't play out with the same theatrics that it does with our American sports. I almost feel like soccer. I almost feel like this Champion Super League would be huge in the U.S. and abroad. Their respective teams. These teams they're very popular to begin with, right? But Americans are going to tune in more often to see, let's say, Tottenham versus Manchester United than, let's say, Newcastle versus West Ham, okay? Teams that just don't have the same notoriety here, and guess what? It's not just all about us. It's about the rest of the world, right? So here's one group outside of Europea. That's a place, right? The United States is one group of people outside of Europe. Yeah, there's a lot of money, cash flow in the United States, sure. But it's about the rest of the world too. In Japan, you may have the same conundrum. I don't know. I'm not Japanese. I couldn't tell you that. But I think overall, I know a lot of people are upset. I think this would be a good thing for soccer, growing itself as more of a global brand and getting into the homes of people who may not have been as interested before. Now, what I'd love to see is if they included the United States or some form of American teams. Now people at home are like, all right, yeah, I'm turning this jackass off. Seriously, though. U.S. soccer is in a very interesting situation right now. They're not going to be in the Olympics. They're not making the World Cup, right? American players need to be playing against these European teams. And if American soccer keeps focusing on MLS, they're never going to get better. So have some of these MLS teams playing in Europe or players playing in Europe. I don't know. This is one person's opinion. As I said, I'm not a soccer expert, but I do like to give a perspective. So there is one perspective of one human being, whether you want to call me an expert or just a loudmouth who likes talking about sports. Jake Paul, the YouTuber, had his third ever professional fight on Saturday. He faced off against former UFC fighter and multiple promotion welterweight champ Ben Askren. And apparently knocked him out almost immediately. First round knockout. And but here's what's weird. It was a first round knockout, but then Askren gets right back up and smiles, waves, okay, bye everybody. YouTube, I'm sorry, the people out there in the Twitterverse and the fandom world are convinced that the fight was rigged. And I don't blame them. I mean, it doesn't really look like... Look, here's a picture of him smiling almost immediately after. He's just living his dream, living his life. He got a big paycheck, right? People want to tune in for this. Yeah, rigged fight. I wouldn't be too surprised. All right, let's talk about baseball a little bit, friend amigos. Let's go back to yesterday's games, a couple of games from this weekend. Rays beat the Yankees 6-3. I did mention Friday's game where fans literally were throwing balls onto the stadium. As a Yankees fan, I'm not happy about that. Nobody wants to see that stuff. No, I'm not happy about how the team's been doing so far. There's injuries. You know, the Yankees have a lot of good players, but can't seem to put it together. The Rays, meanwhile, look sharp. So did the Blue Jays, who won 5-1 over the Royals on Saturday. Cubs got a win over the Braves, 13-4. Cardinals beat the Phillies, 9-4. White Sox lose to the Red Sox, 7-4. Athletics got a win over the Tigers, 7-0. Reds beat the Indians, 3-2. Mets beat the Rockies, 4-3. Marlins get a win over the Giants, 7-6. Blue Jays fall to the Royals, 3-2. Orioles beat the Rangers, 6-1. Brewers beat the Pirates 7-1. Dodgers beating the Padres 2-0. What a series, Dodgers-Padres. Everybody's looking at that right now because the Padres, they made so many moves in the offseason specifically to beat the Dodgers. And if they're going to do it, this is their year to do it because I don't see the Padres maintaining this level of play or these players having all these crazy contracts. It's not going to last, San Diego. So make it count this year. Rockies beat the Mets 7-2. Astros get a win 1-0 over the Mariners. Today's games saw the Diamondbacks beat the Nationals 5-2. Rays sweep the Yankees 4-2 today. Phillies get a win over the Cardinals 2-0. White Sox beat the Red Sox 3-2. Indians get a win over the Reds 6-3. Giants beat the Marlins 1-0. Brewers beat the Padres. Oh, I'm sorry, it's the 10th inning, middle of the 10th. Pirates are ahead 6-5. So Brewers have last licks. Royals and the Blue Jays. Royals get a win 2-0. Rangers beat the Orioles 1-0. Bottom of the ninth now. Mets are ahead 2-1 over the Rockies. Athletics are losing the Tigers 2-1. Dodgers are beating the Padres 2-1. Mariners and Astros are tied right now in the fifth inning, and the Red Sox are losing to the White Sox. And then you got a late game tonight. Cubs and Braves. Some series coming up this week that I would keep my eye on. There's another White Sox Red Sox game tomorrow. Let's see. I'm not really seeing any exciting matchups. Brewers Padres? I don't know. Let's take a look at the standings. So right now, if you're looking at just the American League, that's right, the Red Sox are on top of the AL East 10-5. Meanwhile, the Yankees are on the bottom 5-10. Pull it together, New York. Rays are 8-8, Orioles 7-9, Blue Jays 7-9. Early lead here for the Red Sox, who look much better than the rest of their division rivals. And the Yankees, by the way, they're dead last in baseball. Last time they did that was 1998, and guess what? They won the World Series that year. So just a heads up. Royals 9-5, Indians 8-7, White Sox 7-8, Twins are 6-8, and the Tigers are 6-9. In the AL West, you have the Angels on top. They're 8-5. Mariners have more wins, but also more losses, so they're 9-6. Athletics are 8-7. Astros 7-7, and the Rangers are 7-9. It's still early in the season, so one or two games. Last week the Astros were in first place, so a lot can happen in a short amount of time, and that's kind of where we are right now. Oh, Carlos Rodon. Oh my goodness, he had a perfect game going until the ninth inning. And then he hit Roberto Perez on the foot with 2 strikes and 1 out in the ninth. He was so close to a perfect game. You just hate to see stuff like that. Absolutely hate. Do I have the video here? Let's see if we get a video. Okay, we got some grandmother and her kids. That's exactly what happened. During the game, some kids ran onto the field and hugged their grandmother, and it was absolutely adorable. That's exactly what it is. Here's the actual play right here.
Inside, Perez. He got hit by it.
You hate to see that. Oh my gosh, 8-0.
To end the perfect game.
You know what? He's smiling out there. You know, he's disappointed, but
can't you fake this one? It actually got
right off his foot. Oh my gosh. I can't look at this anymore. Oh, I can't look at it. Some good news. Sean Kazmar Jr. last played in the majors in 2008, 36 years old, and called back up to the Atlanta Braves. He got one last chance to play and even got an at-bat. He grounded into a double play. He was a pinch hitter. The Braves did lose 13-4, but good for you, Kazmar. That's a really nice thing. Steven Strasburg, he is on the IL, shoulder inflammation. Hopefully he won't be gone too long. But 10 days without him, 34 years old. Can you believe that? Strasburg is 34 years old. I remember when they drafted this guy. But that hurts too. That really hurts. Jay Bruce is set to retire after 14 seasons, 34 years old. He thought he was going to be coming back this year. He even managed to get on the Yankees roster, but didn't work out for him. Maybe he'll land somewhere else, but it looks like he's going to retire at this time. All right, NBA. Let's see some of these games from this weekend. Friday. Jazz beat the Pacers 119-111. Pistons got a win over the Thunder 110-104. Wizards get a win over the Pelicans 117-115. 76ers remain on top in the East 106-103 over the Clippers. Raptors get a win over the Magic 113-102. Nets beating the Hornets 130-115. Hornets, they've slid a little bit. Last week, they were in third place. Now they're down at 8. Bulls fall to the Grizzlies 126-115. Nuggies beat the Rockets 128-99. Timberwolves beating the Heat 119-111. Trailblazers beat the Spurs 107-106, and the Knicks get a win over the Mavericks 117-109. Lakers beat the Jazz yesterday 127-115. Wizards beating the Pistons 121-100. Bulls get a win over the Cavaliers 106-96. Celtics get a win over the Warriors 119-114. Steph Curry, not his brother, Steph Curry, 47 points. I think that's 10 straight games. Let's see, I have it right here. 10 straight games of 30 points or more, and that ties a record with the great Kobe Bryant. Good looks for the Warriors. Meanwhile, Jason Tatum, he had 44 points himself. It was a nice little duel between the two of them. That was very fun to see. Very, very fun. Bucks lose to the Grizzlies 128-115, and the Spurs, excuse me while I crack my neck. Spurs beat the Suns 111-85. Now today's games, Knicks beat the Pelicans in overtime 122-112. And out of my own curiosity here, I got to see what happened in this game. Manuel quickly not scoring as much as they did before. I think the league maybe they figured this guy out, but Barrett had a nice game. Randall had a nice game. How did Zion do? 34 points for Zion, 33 points for Randall. Nice little back and forth, the two of them. Pacers get a win. Pacers lose to the Hawks 129-117. Heat beat the Nets 109-107. Jimmy Butler, it is no secret that he has not been happy with the play of the Heat this season. He is a huge critic of his team, and that's part of what we love about Jimmy Butler. Maybe this is the start of a big, big run by the Heat, because they are better than they've been. They absolutely are, and beating the Nets today is big. By the way, I think Kevin Durant went down in this game. I don't know if we have any information on that, but it looks like he only played 4 minutes. Yeah, Kevin Durant left early in the game, so that could hurt this team. Blake Griffin started. Wow, good for you, Blake. All right, so there are some late games tonight that I won't have the score for you now, but Trailblazers, Hornets, Rockets, Magic, Thunder, Raptors, Kings, Mavericks, Timberwolves, and Clippers, and then any big games coming up in the next few days. Warriors, 76ers, Bulls, Celtics, Heat, Rockets, not really. Bucks and Suns, that could be a good one. I might tune into that on Monday night. Monday. Jazz and Lakers, that's another good one. On Tuesday, Hornets, Knicks. I know they're not premier teams, but they're close to each other in the standings, so it could be a fun game. Let's see. Zion playing the Nets. That could be interesting. All right, let's look at those standings. So in the East, the Sixers on top, 39-17, followed by the Nets, 38-18. Both of them are 7-3 in their last 10. The Bucks are good, but not as good, 35-21. Hawks are 31-26, Celtics 31-26, Knicks are 31-27. Oh, look, we got a text from my wife. Let's see what she wants. Chili's ready. I guess it's time for dinner. It's all right. We'll be up in a second, Hannah. All right, Heat are 28-28, Hornets 27-28. Followed by that, you got the Pacers, Bulls, Wizards. Pacers are 26 wins, so 1 or 2 wins could get them in. And Hornets are 4-6 in their last 10, so the Pacers may push in there. Bulls, Wizards, Raptors, they all have 23. Cavaliers at 20, Magic at 18, and the Pistons at 17. So those 3 teams need something huge. The Raptors, I still believe the Raptors can make a run and turn this thing around, but we'll have to wait and see. When you look at the West, nobody expected the Jazz and the Suns to be on top this far into the season, but here they are. Now, Jazz have faltered a little bit, 6-4 in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Suns are now only a game and a half behind them. A game and a half behind them at 40-16. Clippers are 39-19. Nuggets are 36-20. They are on a huge run right now. Remember, the Nuggets did not start this season looking good. They are finally putting it together and at the right time. Now, the Lakers are 5-5 in their last 10. No LeBron. That hurts. No Anthony Davis. Also hurts. So they're 35-22. Remember, all this Lakers team has to do is make the playoffs and then buckle up for fun, friends. They just have to not fall that far. Trailblazers are 32-23. They're also a team that started slow and now they're 5-5, so they're kind of middle of the pack right now. Mavericks are 30-25. Grizzlies on a tear right now. They're 7-3 in their last 10, 29-26, and the Warriors are just out of playoff contention, 28-29. Then you got the Spurs, 27-28. Pelicans aren't too far behind, 25-32, but they're also 4-6 in their last 10, so I'm not really banking on them to get up there anytime soon. Kings are 22-34, Thunder's 20-36, Timberwolves are 15-42. Way to go, Timberwolves are not in last place anymore. No, it's the Rockets, 14-42. Ew. Rockets are in dead last. Do I have nothing else for the NBA? Wow, that's a surprise. I have a lot more for hockey today. All right, let's talk hockey then. The season's actually whittling down quite a bit right now. We're getting close to the end. Canadiens beat the Flames on Friday 2-1. Bruins beat the Islanders 3-0. Wild got a win over the Sharks 3-2. Golden Knights beating the Ducks 4-0. Capitals beat the Flyers 6-3. Rangers over the Devils 6-3. Penguins beating the Sabres 3-2. Sidney Crosby had an amazing goal. Oh no, I'm sorry. That was not against the Sabres. That was against the Flyers the other day, where his stick broke. I'm sorry, not his. I think it was Dumoulin. Brian Dumoulin's stick breaks. Crosby hands him his stick, then races off to the bench, picks up a new stick, and then down the ice and scores the goal almost immediately after. I mean, he is by far. He's just an amazing player to watch. Is Dumoulin even on the team? Yeah, he is. I think it was him. Anyway, I'm sorry, I got distracted. Senators beat the Canadiens 4-0. Big win for the Senators. They need that. Coyotes beating the Blues 3-2. Hurricanes beating the Predators 3-1. Blackhawks beating the Red Wings 4-0. Panthers going to win over the Lightning 5-3. Oilers beating the Jets 3-0. Sharks fall to the Wild 5-2. Stars beat the Blue Jackets 5-1. Stars are maybe pulling it together right now. I don't know. Today's games had the Bruins beating the Capitals 6-3. Rangers beat the Devils 5-3. Sabres get a win over the Penguins. Yikes, 4-2. Golden Knights get a win over the Ducks. They're beating the Ducks 4-2. There's still a lot of time left in that game. It's the third period. Islanders Flyers is tonight. Maple Leafs Canucks is tonight. Now I'm starting to smell dinner, so we're gonna power through, fans. We're almost done. Almost there. Hurricanes. Oh man, that smells so good. So good. Okay. You know how they say heat rises? I think smells fall. I'm in the basement right now. That's the only way that this makes sense to me. Smells fall, heat rises, right? Okay. In the Central, Hurricanes are on top with 62 points, followed by the Panthers at 61. By the way, Panthers right now have more attendance than all of the Canadian teams. Go Panthers! It's only because of COVID, friends. It's only because of COVID. But way to go, Florida! Anyway, Lightning at 60. Now, this is just interesting to me because the Lightning are a much better team than this. The Hurricanes, imagine if the Hurricanes were in the East right now. That 62 would be pushing the Bruins out of contention. But Hurricanes are in realistically, this is a much weaker division than the East is, for sure. If this was a normal season, I don't think you'd see teams like the Predators, the Blackhawks, the Stars anywhere near contention, yet here they are. I mean, really, the Hurricanes, Panthers, and Lightning all separated by 2 points, and the next best team is the Panthers at 49. So, you tell me. The Blackhawks are right behind them. They're at 47 points. The Stars at 46. The Blue Jackets at 39. And the Red Wings at 38. Stars, by the way, are 6-2-2 in their last 10. I still like their chances. I know I go back and forth on the Stars, but I still like their chances. In the East, the Capitals remain on top at 62 points, followed by the Penguins at 59. This was Pittsburgh's chance to push themselves ahead. Losing to Buffalo hurts. Islanders are 58, Bruins 56, Rangers at 52. That's right, the Rangers are in contention right now. Flyers aren't too far back, but they need to win a couple more games. And then you have the Devils and Sabres, Devils at 34, Sabres at 31. It's going to take a miracle for them. Actually, I think the Sabres were officially eliminated from the playoffs today. Going into the West now, the Avalanche, 64 points on top of this division, followed by the Golden Knights. These two are back and forth all year. Wild are 57. Oh, by the way, the Avalanche, I think they have to suspend a couple of games because of COVID, so keep your eyes on that prize. We're speaking of teams having to suspend for COVID. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Canucks in a moment. The Wild, 57 points. Coyotes, 45, Blues at 44, Sharks at 40, Kings at 38, and the Duckies, quack quack, at 35 points. Realistically, I mean, your top three teams are definitely getting in. It's that wild card team. It could be the Blues, the Coyotes, the Sharks, maybe. I mean, none of them look particularly... Actually, they all look horrible. Horrible. If I had to pick one, I think the Blues may be the best team to get in, but yeah. And the North, not much has really changed here in the North. The Maple Leafs remain on top at 60. Jets nipping at their heels at 57. Oilers at 54. Canadiens 47. Flames at 41. Canucks at 35. Yeah, we're going to talk about them. And the Senators at 34. I mean, the Senators have played 8 more games than the Canucks, and they still can't catch up to them in the standings. I don't know how this is going to work. So, the Canucks... Wait, what is this? We already looked at this. The Canucks haven't played a game now since March... When was it? Let's see. March 24th due to COVID. 25 players on the team were sick and symptomatic. So, the NHL is still requiring them to complete their 56-game schedule. What does that mean? They're going to be playing a lot of games in the next month. The season is supposed to end May 11th. They're going to extend the North Division and have their schedule end May 16th. The Canucks are going to play the remaining games in 31 days. 19 games in 31 days. Do you know how many days? Let's say that's a full month of 31. So 4.5 weeks. 19 games. That's like every other day. And I think they're going to be playing they're playing 5 games in the first 7 days they're back on the ice. I get that they're well rested, but they're probably not as conditioned as they were a month ago. You are subjecting these players to injury. The NHL has made a horrifying mistake here. What they should do, right, make them finish out whatever games are left on their schedule for this season, and just... I mean, I guess because it's points, so you can't base it off of points. I mean, the Canucks weren't really contending, right? Where were they in the standings? Let's see, NHL. I know that's not a good enough reason. I understand that to just eliminate those games. Let's see, where were they? No, we got to go to Canada. Yeah, Canucks at 35. So let's say realistically they won. What were they? They were 6-3-1 in their last 10. That's actually not so bad. All right, so let's say they won 20. There's almost 20 games, 6-12. Let's say they win 12 of those 19 games, which I think is realistic for them based on where they were before all of this happened. 12 games may even be pushing it for them. But fine. They win 12 games. That's 24 more points. That puts them at 59 points, which right now, is above the Jets. But remember, all these teams, the Maple Leafs, the Jets, Oilers, Canadiens, they still have games to play too. I don't see it. Canadian, it's tough because I think maybe the Canucks could overtake the Canadiens and get in the playoffs, but the chances are so slim. No, you don't want to penalize a team. It's a tough decision, it really is, but I just don't think 19 games in that span is worth it. I really don't. Hopefully the players stay healthy. Hopefully nobody gets hurt. But just something to keep your eyes on. Patrick Marleau, congratulations. Ties Gordie Howe for the most games played. How is that possible? Marleau has played 23 seasons. He's 41 years old. But he was 10 years younger than Gordie Howe was in his last NHL game. I mean, I think they play a lot more games now than they did then. I don't know how long the season was back then, but that's pretty interesting. Congratulations. Absolutely. Okposo, he's out for the season after taking a puck to the face. Doesn't matter. Sabres are out of the playoffs anyway, but hope he's okay. That just stinks. They've been mathematically eliminated. Now he's hurt. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows? And the Lightning lose Steven Stamkos. He's out long term. Yeef. He is not eligible to return until May 5th. That's going to hurt the Lightning, who are in a major playoff run right now. Jesus, I still have more to talk about. All right, well, there's 19 NFL teams who are saying the players on those teams do not want to participate in voluntary workouts. It's voluntary. COVID is a thing. Totally get it. 19 teams don't want to do it. And the Cleveland Browns release Sheldon Richardson, but they did sign to Jadeveon Clowney. No surprise there. There's no need for 2 defensive tackles on this team. All right, friends, that's all the time I have for today. Yes, I am hungry, and yes, I'm going to eat chili, and yes, thank you so much for joining me. Always a pleasure. If you like what you heard, find me on SoundCloud, Twitter, YouTube, and the Facebook. Just type in Sports with Nick Drago. Yeah, that's me. Special thanks, as usual, to Johanna Drago. She is the content editor, logo designer, and set designer for this podcast, and I gotta give her a shout out here. She called it. She called the NCAA champions. She had Gonzaga falling in the final game to Baylor. How did she do that? I don't know. She's amazing. That's how. She's also carrying my human child baby inside of her. So doing it while pregnant, on pregnant brain. Yeah, that's some real skill out there. Congratulations, Hannah. You got your shout out. Special thanks to our social media warriors, Mary Kay and Gary Albert, my mom, Joe Calabro, Jorge Pajares, all our friends out there in the sports-averse. Look at where my neck is. That's pretty crazy. And, did I have anything else? What else? Oh, yeah, the music. Here's a song called Golden Sunrise by Josh Woodward. A link to his website can be found on the show notes. Guys, I'm sorry. The smell is just wafting down here. I'm going to go eat some chili. You all have a fantastic evening. Thank you for joining me with Sports with Nick Drago. And, of course, caw-caw!